Sonic, the heart of your system.
I'm the awarded for Kit Guru. We're at Nangang for Computex 2019. I'm with 8Pack, the British overclocker. He's got a mega system and he's developing new liquid cooling hardware. I'm now going to pass him the microphone. He talks, but he talks good stuff. Here we go, over to 8Pack.
Hi Kit Guru viewers, I'm here at Computex 2019 and I'm basically here to show off my new system, which we have here, and then a new innovative range of water cooling products that I'm partnering with a company called Nexalus. So first let's quickly come in and have a look at the system. This system here is going to be known as the Vortex, and basically it's a replacement to the Hypercube system, which I EOL'd a while ago because I didn't have a suitable cube case available that I wanted to use. Previously, of course, I was using Case Labs, and since then they've gone into administration. So I was looking for to make a new system in the high-end mainstream bracket. Essentially, I've already got if you like, an ITX, then an M-ATX, and I wanted to make essentially an ATX system, which is racked out with everything the gamer would need, and of course the streamer, and to a certain extent the professional user as well. So let's first discuss what hardware we've got in this great looking system. We've got an Intel 9900K CPU, and that's overclocked to at least 5.1 gigahertz. We've got 64 gigabytes of the Team Group hand-selected 8-pack memory, which is guaranteed to have the Samsung IC, and that's overclocked to 3600 megahertz at a very nice CAS16 latency. And then we've got the gaming experience is obviously enhanced with the two 2080 Ti's running with NVLink here. And those again will be overclocked in the system to at least 2050 megahertz with a nice boost on the memory also. Obviously you can see here we've also got the Asus Maximus 11 motherboard, which is a very stable platform. It's the Formula Maximus, and I've chosen that one because it's great performance and great aesthetic. It's got the nice armour, which is very difficult to see actually with the graphics cards from this angle, but if you take a look under there you can see the armour, and we've got the full cover block here on the VRM. Okay, so in terms of the modding or the unique mods that we've applied to this Lian Li 011 ROG version case, and obviously I have to point out that I picked this case because it is the aluminium version and not the more, if you like, discounted steel version. I like the aluminium, the light feel, and the brushed look. So let's then shift on to now what's unique about the visuals about this system. We've got hand-braided cables that are being made by Pexon for me, and they're using the MDPC braiding. We've got them obviously on the GPUs, 24 pin, and in fact all visible cabling as well on the 8 pins up here. We've got plenty of 8-pack branding because you can never have too much of that, of course. We've got the 8-pack little block here, which is connecting the VRM together with the CPU block. We've got the 8-pack branding on the fans here, and then we've got the 8-pack branding at the front here, along with the Nexalus logo here, which I'll come on to a little bit in a little bit, because I'm working with Nexalus on a very exciting range of water cooling products that are certainly not me too. They're very different in the 8-pack ethos, and it's really a no compromise line. But like I say, I'll come back onto that as a separate feature. We'll just discuss the system now. So like I say, we've got the fan grills, we've got the 8-pack logo here, we've got a distribution plate here at the front, which is serving actually as a 2-level distribution plate. At the very front of the distribution plate here, we actually have the reservoir for the system. Okay, and obviously we have some nice etching there, which when the system actually launches to the market in around 6 to 8 weeks, the etching here can be customized to anything the end user wants to to do on there. But we also have on the second layer of the distribution plate, if you like, connections to the pump here in the bottom. So this one here is feeding the pump, and this one here is taking the outlet from the pump. And then obviously it's then feeding to the bottom graphics card, from the top graphics card out here to the distribution plate again. So we're feeding the bottom graphics card here, top graphics card here, and back to the distribution plate, up from the distribution plate up again, then over to the chipset block, out the chipset block, into the CPU block, out the CPU block, again back to the distro plate, and then using the distro plate again to nicely reconnect to the radiator here, and then back to the reservoir here at the top. So obviously it's very easy to bleed the air out here, and also fill through the port that you can see right at the top. The pump for this system is PWM DDC, and that's fitted nice and compactly here. Okay, and obviously we've got 2 triple radiators, which is enough cooling to run the fans at around 11 RPM at full chat to keep this system nice and cool. And obviously, as per usual, it's a no-compromise approach. The CPU is very heavily binned, also has been delidded, and the tin replaced with liquid metal. This system will launch with an RRP, or, well, I mean, obviously, the RRP is the retail price because it's only available on OC and CASEKING. So it'll be around 10,000 UK. So it fits exactly in the range between the Comet, which is currently at around 8,000, and then the Polaris, which is around 12,000. I mean, in a couple of months' time, there will be an AMD variant of this as well when the new CPUs that Lisa Sue announced the other day are available. Obviously, us being an SI, we've got to pre-test those CPUs, and the performance is such that we can move this system onto that platform as well. So we can offer Intel and AMD, and obviously, if people wanted to choose AMD's GPUs for this, they can also select AMD GPUs.
I told you Ian could talk, but by God, that's good stuff. That's the system, a really brief run through the system. He could have said 3-4 times as much. That is using sort of first generation, lower tier, would you believe, hardware of his new cooling range. This is the ultra high-end, super duper development stuff that is totally radical and different. 8Pack's now going to give us a quick run through of what's going on here.
Hello again, Kit Guru viewers. So, basically, just a little bit of background about this water cooling range. Obviously, 8Pack is about innovation and moving things forward. And when I decided to do a water cooling range, I was looking really to do something not me too and very different and innovative, which is pushing the boundaries of both performance and aesthetics. Now, while I was looking to do this, fortunately for me, I was approached by a company called Nexalus, which is very much a research-based cooling company based in Ireland, and they approached me initially to do, I guess, develop them with them. And obviously, when I got more finding out exactly what the research was driving the project, I really became interested in actually making this an 8Pack product, because indeed it is different. It's outperforming everything else available in the water cooling sector of the market that we've targeted so far, and it's tackling the problems of the conventional water block. So, as it stands now, that pretty much every single water cooling company is using jet impingement, but they're using a jet impingement that's just a single strip down the middle for inlet and outlet. And what we found through research is that this is actually not giving the best performance. They're also using like a very slim fin, which is symmetrical across the surface of the, if you like, the cold plate, which is attaching to the CPU. And again, we found that was not optimal. And also, we wanted to do something very different, as well as improving the cooling with our solution. We wanted to do something that's very different with the if you like, the look and the manufacturing. So let me now discuss how we are doing this. So, basically, each CPU will have its own tuned block, if you like. And what we did was we looked at the limitations of this, the impingement that, if you like, every other manufacturer is using, and tried to remove this limitation. So what we do essentially is X-ray the die of the CPU, discover where the heat pattern is, or effectively where the cores are, and we tune an impingement plate, which will be interchangeable, to exactly where the cores and where the heat is. And also we direct the jets then of water to these exact areas. Okay, so if you like, you could call it a showerhead arrangement, and I think that's the best way to think of it. But this is an interchangeable showerhead, so should the customer change CPU from Intel 2666, for example, to 115X, they can just change the showerhead within the CPU. And then, so that was essentially the first problem solved. But what also we noticed when we're testing this showerhead is that the impingement, this flat impingement plate, if you like, or just a slot, does not scale well with flow of liquid. And literally, the users, the manufacturers, if you like, sorry, now have maxed out on that idea. And even if you double the pump output, they're not gaining much in terms of performance. Our arrangement, however, is scaling massively with pressure, with head pressure, and with the amount of coolant that you're getting into the solution. So obviously that makes way for our own pump, but that will be coming in the later stages. What we wanted to do is make sure we're at least 5 to 6 degrees better than all the competition with our own arrangement, if you like, using a stock gaming pump, which you'd say was DDC or D5. Okay, so the second thing we then looked at is the fin arrangement that they're using, which is a selection of straight fins cut into the nickel-plated copper, if you like. And now this basically is not creating enough froth or vortex on the surface, which is what's doing the majority of cooling. So we came up with an offset strip fin with differing heights, which will create this froth needed and larger surface area to get even more cooling. So essentially what we're doing, we're putting a research-developed best practice impingement plate with a research-developed best practice base. And that CPU block will be called the X2, Flux 2 or Extreme, depending on what socket you choose, 8-pack version. And we'll be looking to, with a standard pump, really revolutionise the industry in terms of, how low we can go, and even lower when our pump comes. Now, obviously that's the X2. Now, what we have on show here is the X3, which takes the cooling to an absolute crazy level. Because what we've got here is we've got the shower head, yes, but we're actually spraying on this model here directly onto the IHS. Because obviously we noticed that no matter what TIM you use, it makes a very inefficient boundary to the IHS. So here we're spraying directly onto the IHS itself. And this will only be available essentially in our systems at OCUK, or in systems at CASEKING or CASEKING Group, if you like, or indeed to our server customers. And this obviously is gaining an extra 4 or 5 degrees even over our best block, and that is already several degrees ahead of all the so-called competition. Now, you can take this obviously a step further, and that's what we indeed are doing right now. The one here you can see is spraying directly onto the IHS, but also obviously you can spray directly onto the die in a delidable CPU, and that's even giving even more benefit because you remove the TIM or even the need to delid to deprive liquid metal. So essentially you remove another layer of copper where you can lose some degrees, and you remove also a layer of tin. So you're spraying directly onto the die, and then again you have the correct shower head. Again you're gaining with a higher pressure pump or even with the normal pump on the normal layout. I mean, for obvious reasons, because of the possibility that you can damage hardware doing it that way, if you don't not get a perfect seal, that will only be available, as I said, in Infinite 8-pack, another system supplied by CASEKING Group. Now we have the GPU block here. What we're showing here is a 2080 Ti reference design block. Now that's supporting the same impingement structure as the CPU blocks, but obviously it's configured for the NVIDIA GPU core itself. So we've got some direction onto the core, and we've got some direction also onto the RTX portion of the core, if you like. And what we're finding here with this block is, and we're calling it Vortex, is that we're sucking all the heat out through the middle. And in terms of performance of the block, you're talking 6, 7, 8 degrees better than the rest. I mean, what we're tuning right now, I guess, is not the performance anymore, because we've really, been focusing on that for around 8 to 10 months. What we're tuning is the aesthetic, getting obviously the essential RGB in there for the gamers, and obviously making it easy to mount. And what we will do in future is add the Vortex, which you can see is this like curly logo, if you like, this spiral logo. We'll add that to the front of the plastics here, and we'll add some extra nice designs to the back plate that you can see here. I mean, the driver's performance, but I realise in gaming also you have to have the aesthetics, so we're really tuning this hard. Now, what is also important in our system is that every single other company is machining in some way or other. What we're doing is we're using a high-end automotive company, and we're using injection moulding. So the finish on the clear products, for example, we really like glass, and the finish on the black products will be much crisper than what you can see here. This is machine product, because, like I said, we're still in the prototyping for the visuals, and tooling on injection moulding is very expensive. But the company that we're using is producing already components for very famous automotive brands such as Tesla. So they're really are experts in the injection moulding and getting the best finish. So as always, it's no compromise. I'm working with the best water cooling research and development team, if you like, in the world. We're working with the best manufacturers in the world to bring you no holes barred performance, and not a me too solution. Something that will scale with pump pressure, that will not clog up over years and years of usage, that needs minimum maintenance, that you can change the shower head for your CPU, and you get the best always for your CPU.
Absolutely excellent. I mean, what a run through. So not only liquid cooling, custom liquid cooling, but radical custom liquid cooling that's specific to your CPU. It's taking the technology to a whole new level, and there are some very bold claims in those statements. I'm really looking forward to testing this. Many thanks, APAC. It's been absolutely great.
Yep, thanks for the coverage, Leo, and I hope you have a good time at the rest of the Computex. Don't get too drunk.
How kind. Thank you very much. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'm Leo Walder for Kit Guru, here with 8pack at the, well, it's not OC UK, it's actually CASEKING booth. We're at Nangang. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Check back. We're going to have loads of videos this week.